Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to Mountain Computers once again. As promised, today I'm here to do some upgrades work on my main PC. I'm going to be going over some of the upgrades that I've already made today, as well as actually installing some new stuff. So without further ado, why don't we get started?
You're watching Mountain Computers.
The first thing we're going to look at here is the EVGA Supernova 650 G+, 80 plus gold rated power supply that is fully modular, which I bought as a replacement for my power supply in my main system. As some of you may know, the unit that's in here right now is also made by EVGA. It's their 500B model. And there's nothing that's happened that's gone wrong with the one that's in there. In fact, the one that's in here is going to be repurposed in my server. And that's going to happen because I didn't have another power supply sitting around to go into my music production PC. So what I'm going to wind up doing is a sort of trickle-down effect where this power supply is going to my main system, the main system's power supply is going to the server, and then I'm going to repurpose the server power supply to be used in the music production PC. So I purchased this myself, as well everything on this channel has been done so far. That's where that came from, and I got these SATA cables as a 6-pack. They're just standard black SATA cables. On Amazon. Everything I think that's new today I got on Amazon. So yeah, let's get started with that. We'll be putting some of this stuff in here. Alright, so here you can see the 3 drives that are in my system. Over here on what is my left is the 3 terabyte drive, which used to be in my server, and I guess that's sort of a spoiler that I've changed out the drive that's in that, but we'll cover what I replaced it with in the video that's dedicated to the server. It is an HGST, which if I'm not mistaken is Hitachi, 3 terabyte hard drive, and I don't think other than that it's anything particularly impressive. It's 7,200 RPM, so it's not a particularly high performance or long-lasting style drive, and that's part of the reason why I didn't want to continue to use it in my server, and instead swapped it out to be in my personal machine. Not that the one that's now in the server is really that much more reliable, or that I'm extensively worried about my server crashing for a little while, especially due to hard drive issues. So, all that aside, that's what this is. This is a 500 gigabyte Crucial SSD, and I got it on Black Friday for $60, I think it was, about the price you would typically usually see a 256 gigabyte SSD for. So I thought that was a good deal, and I decided to buy that. And here we have a 500 gigabyte HGST drive that those of you who saw the initial build of this system will no doubt recognize is also a replacement drive, but a downgrade from the previous one. The drive that was in here before was a Seagate solid-state hybrid drive, which originally came out of the Dell laptop that I was using for college, after I replaced it with a solid-state drive that I put in that machine. And after having used it in here as a backup drive for a while, it eventually died and wouldn't even be recognized in the BIOS anymore. So I junked that drive, and I happened to have this 500 gigabyte hard drive sitting around that was in a MacBook, which I had bought, and replaced the drive in it with an SSD as well and so this is the only thing that I have doing file backups for me right now, and it is full to the brim, unfortunately. So yeah, I probably need a better backup solution, but unfortunately, I haven't gotten around to that yet. So let's look at the other side here after I get it undone. Okay, so unfortunately, I recognize that it's a little bit hard to see, but in the front here, there is a Corsair H110i. Again, those of you who have seen the initial build of this will recognize that that's an upgrade that's been made from the original configuration where I used to have an H80i V2 from Corsair. I got this when I was working at Best Buy and I could get a good deal on it as a part of their employee discount, so I went ahead and did that the same way that I did the 4K monitor that you guys have seen that video on if you've watched previous videos on my channel. So I believe that those are all the changes that have been made to the original configuration, and let's move on to the upgrade now. Okay, so note number one with the upgrade portion of this video is that I had planned on replacing the GTX 1060 6GB graphics card that's in here with a GTX 1070 Ti. In fact, it's ordered and it is on the way. But Amazon, actually, scratch that, it's not on the way. Amazon hasn't shipped it yet. Amazon is out of stock of it. And I won't be receiving the card until Tuesday now. It is Friday right now, and I ordered it, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So that'll get in eventually. The card that I ordered is a Zotac GTX 1070 Ti Mini, and if you guys are really that interested in seeing the card on my channel, go ahead and say so, but I don't think that it's going to be anything that's particularly of interest to most people, so I am going to omit it from this video in the interest of just getting some more videos on the channel, since I think that's probably more what you guys are interested in seeing. So let's move on from that to extracting the power supply that's currently in here. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My camera ran out of memory on the card, and since my main PC is down, I don't really have a place to put the videos, so I just deleted some old stuff, and hopefully there's enough room there for me to finish up this video. I'm going to try and do things as quickly as possible now. And probably cut out some of the more boring stuff so that you guys get to for sure see the interesting stuff. That said, let's move right along. This nice rubber grommet came out of the system, as many times they do when you have a lot of cables coming through on things of this nature, like a non-modular power supply, for instance, like what I've got here. And so these can be a pain to put back in, unfortunately, but you know, the way they make your cable management look so nice, they really are an advantage, even if they are a bit of an annoyance in the way that they tend to pop out. So I'm going to get that put back in here, and then we will get to the next step. I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay, so after a tedious battle, I've got that grommet back in there. Now, let's talk about the one cable change-up that I'm making, and the reason why I have these SATA cables up here for this video. This SATA cable was one that was originally in the Dell Precision T1500 that was the very first desktop PC that I bought for myself. And I have continued to keep it in my main system up until now. But I think that given that it's kind of messing up my color scheme, it's gotta go. I'm gonna repurpose it in the music production PC, which will have a Dell Precision T1500 motherboard in it. So I think it's fitting to see this go into that system. And I'm going to, be making my main build look a little bit cleaner in the process there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that SATA cable in there. I'm going to clean up the cable management on the back since I have the opportunity to right now, and then I'll get back with you guys when I get ready to start putting the power supply in. Well, I don't think it's going to be winning any awards, but it's much better than it was before, and I think that's what counts. It's much less of a mangled mess in the back, and that's something I've been meaning to get around to since I built the machine originally, so it's nice to have that done. I'm going to get on to taking the power supply out now, and then I will be unboxing the EVGA 650G Plus. Alright, and I have the power supply out. Took out the graphics card first, of course, so I could get enough clearance, and then 4 screws at the back, and out came the power supply. So I'm going to take this minute right now to say, if any of you ever get the Fractal Design Define S Mini, this case, not that probably most of you will, it's getting a little bit older and harder to find, but if you happen to find yourself in that circumstance, I would not recommend going with the H110i that I have in here. Getting this thing in here is a trial of patience, and it is incredibly not well suited. That is, this case is incredibly not well suited to having this radiator mounted in the front. Even though it says it's 280mm compatible in the front, there's nowhere for the cables from the fans to go, so I have them routed through the mounting holes that you would use for a reservoir if you were going to do that. But in order to get the cables through there, of course, I had to bend the metal back there. Luckily, it was in a place where you wouldn't normally see. But anyway, let's move along before I get too deep into that, into unboxing the power supply. All right, I'll get the camera reframed and we'll get going. All right, so here we go. Let's get started. There's a plastic, I don't know what you call this stuff, shrink wrap, all the way around the outside. So I'm going to start by pulling that off, and there we go. I'm going to be trying to go kind of fast with this again because of the limited recording time. There's a piece of tape across the packaging back here where they have a pull tab that you can pull out to open up the lid of the unit, and then of course it opens up like this, like most power supplies, especially from EVGA. And I know some of the radiators, the liquid cooler all-in-one kits boxes open up like that. There is a manual in here. And then I see right in the middle they have the power supply boxed up here in some nice custom fit foam that has kept the power supply in pretty much perfect condition. And shipping, I wouldn't expect anything less really from these guys. There's some tape holding this bag on the outside of this, so we'll cut through there, and there is the power supply itself. So again, this is a fully modular unit, so there's no integrated cables. Everything can be either put in or out of the system so that you have the least cable clutter that's necessary for your system. And there is a sticker here on the top that I'm going to take off. And then let's take a look at what else is in the box here. So cables, and as you might expect, more cables. And one of these jumpstart your system type things, along with some power supply screws, which unfortunately are nickel plated and not powder coated. So I tend to like the black powder coated screws for my power supply, so I'll probably be keeping with the ones that I had the EVGA 500B in there with. Yeah. So that all taken into consideration, I'm going to go ahead and get the power supply in there. I think I'm going to skip all the cable management stuff with that, and anything to do with getting that in there. Unfortunately, with the record limit, I'm a little bit afraid of going over, so I will get back with you guys once I have the system ready to boot up, once it's back downstairs. Okay guys, so it's very difficult to see through this glossy acrylic panel, but everything is ready to go here. So I'm going to flip on the power supply switch, and I can already see the keyboard lit up, so I'm pretty sure everything's going to work okay here. I'm going to turn on the monitor, and let's see how it goes. It's a good sign. Let me turn on the lighting here. And as you can now maybe see, a lot of the cabling in there has been cleaned up a little bit. The stuff down here in the modular portion, unfortunately, is visible and looks a little bit odd since I don't have a basement in this case. But I think that the benefits that it gives to not having ketchup and mustard cabling, which is much easier to look at here if I have the white lights on. Altogether, I think it just adds a lot more clean aesthetic to the build. It's not quite as nice as if I had sleeved cabling, but it's closer. And I think that that's a good step in the right direction. And I don't really plan on adding sleeved cabling anytime soon. But I am running out of time for this video in a very literal sense with the camera. I'm booted up to my BitLocker login here. So I am pretty much ready to start editing this video. So thanks for watching, guys. And I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please don't be afraid to hit that like button, and if you want to stay tuned for the couple videos I have coming up in the future, then hopefully you'd consider subscribing. But thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.